here is my 91 Camaro build. I ended up finding this car for 500 bucks. Has zero rust on it. It does have red interior. It's not my favorite, but it is a T-top car. That's what I wanted to base my build off of. And it also came with 4th gen rims. So the car actually looks pretty good. It is all black. The last owner did spray paint it black, and I eventually will be doing the body work on it and painting it like a darker gray and having black rims. The rims I do have on it are not ones that I'm going to be keeping. Here's another front side view of it. Again, very clean car. It's actually dirty, but you kind of get what I'm saying. It is a not a lot of dents. It's a very nice looking car for 500 bucks. The motor is bad in it. That's why I ended up picking it up. Here's the car actually in my garage finally. I thought it was kind of a cool picture. It kind of looks like the headlights are on, but they are not. Here's some pictures of the motor. This is the TBI motor. It's a 5-liter. They're really just junk. This car came with 170 horsepower, and with the age of this car, it's not that quick. Again, more pictures of the inside of the engine. Really dirty. Thing was a mess. It had like a rod knock. So what I ended up doing is just pull the motor. Got these things at Harbor Freight. Life changer when you're moving the car around your garage. I have a 3-car garage. This thing makes the life a lot easier. Just put them on each wheel. They weren't that expensive. I recommend waiting until they go on sale. Use some coupons and you'll get a good deal on it. This is the motor pulled out of the car, the transmission motor. Spent quite a bit of time doing that and pulling it out. You can kind of see the aftermath. That was all the radiator fluid that rushed out of my car. I tried catching it before it went on the ground, but yeah, it looked like my car died. But my buddy decided to show up in his Mustang, and I had to squeeze it in the garage and fix a couple things, and while I was working on my car. Here's the engine again. Pulled apart, pulled the transmission off. There's a lot of parts I had to take off this motor in order to swap on the new motor. I ended up buying a 5.7 liter out of a 95 GMC truck. So the motor ran when I got it. I had a few surprises when I got the motor. This is the motor right here. So when I took it all apart, there was a lot of sludge. It looked like they never replaced the oil in the thing. But the funny part is, when I was at that place when I bought it, it was running. It purred like a kitten. I guess these motors just last. Here's the heads. Again, if you kind of look in between the rockers, lots and lots of oil just caked in there. Very nasty. I did not reuse these heads. They're disgusting. I ended up pretty much giving them away. Here's the number off the heads. So this is a lifter guide bracket I had to steal off of my old motor in the Camaro, and the lifter guide brackets as well. It did not come on the 5.7 liter, so I did end up taking this off of my old motor, and pretty much the small block Chevy stuff's all transferable, so it's really nice in that aspect. Again, kind of see more of the sludge in there. It was really nasty in that old motor as well. Here's the engine bay, kind of with the motor out. Kind of see that, I have a lot of the TBI stuff still floating around the engine bay. I did end up cleaning all that stuff out, cleaned it up. I am planning on keeping the AC unit and all of its components. Eventually I will hook it up. It is a Florida car, so it does get hot down here in the summer. So that is my plan, is to keep the AC. Currently, it's not hooked up. I still need to recharge the system. It'll be a good running AC unit as soon as I get around to it. Here's some parts that I have purchased off of Craigslist. I did clean up that oil pan. It was a chrome one. I know those leak a lot, so what you do is you kind of scuff up the edges right there. to make a good mating surface. I also cleaned that metal bracket that forms a good seal around the oil pan. It was real rusty, so I cleaned it up, put some paint on it. Looks a lot better now. Also, you see my timing cover. I purchased that off of Summit. And these valve covers, I actually didn't end up using, but I did get them off Craigslist for a really good price. And you can kind of see my FI Tech unit box at the very bottom. So bought a brand new water pump, but I did not like the way it looked, so I painted it. And here is my transmission, my 700R4. It was super dirty. I cleaned it all up and ended up painting it. The funny part is I spent all this time on this dang transmission, and third drive and all that overdrive stuff doesn't work. I have first and second. But it looks pretty. I should have cleaned the mount over there, but the torque arm mount, but oh well. Some more pictures of it. It did come out really clean. I spent a lot of time on it. Here's a picture of the urethane bushing for my torque arm. I was having issues getting it fit. I had to shave off those rivets right there, and you actually have to bolt those in. The parts are kind of backwards when you purchase these. This one looks like the same size, and it should go on this side, but it does not. It actually gets reversed fit compared to the stock ones. Here's my RPM air gap intake. This is the one I ended up using. I kind of switched back and forth between this one and the Performer. Based on one of those videos I watched with David Freiberger, he did a comparison and he said the RPM air gap was better for the FI Tech units and all that stuff. So I ended up going with this one. Again, another find on Craigslist. This one was actually painted black. It looked terrible, so I went ahead and painted that as well. So I made my own control panel, and I based this off of video. Watch the Fab forums. He did a little video on it, and I really liked it, so I kind of copied what he did and made a little panel. The plastic piece that it's all on, it actually is what the computer was mounted to. So I went ahead and just used that same thing, so it tucks underneath my dash really nicely, so you don't have to see it. I did have to use the back of it for the ground and the device power. Kind of kept them marked so it was real easy to hook up things to it. I think it turned out pretty nice. In later videos, you'll be able to see what it looks like now, because I loomed it all up, changed some configurations. It looks really nice. Another picture of it. Here's where the fun started. I had to delume everything and take all the smog stuff out, all the TBI stuff, and it was quite the job. But I followed some forums. There's some good articles online that you can find on what you really need and what you don't, which is really interesting. You'll see that all of the grounds, and you'll see things daisy chained when you're trying to unloom all this stuff. That was really interesting. I had to cut a lot of things, and it actually started to end up like this. I just kind of organized everything on what I needed, and got rid of stuff I didn't. Actually saved a lot of room in those looms after I removed all the stuff I didn't need. So I took that block, took it all down. I brought it to the machine shop. This is the 5.7 liter. I'd actually got it back and it looked really clean. That guys did a great job on it. This is me putting it on the mount, taking some extra pictures of the job they did. Did a real good job. It was super clean. It's nice to see something that wasn't so grimy and everything. So this is me just throwing primer on it. so I can get it. I was going to paint it black. So I taped it all off, so didn't get anything in the cylinder walls. Different angle of that. This is me spray painting it black. Actually turned out really good in the car. I'm really happy with how it turned all out. So after I painted it, I actually purchased this little kit from Amazon to clean out all of the screw holes. So I went through every single one on the whole motor. There's a lot of grime in there, even after I got it back from the machine shop. And this is me kind of showing you a little bit that, you know, the Q-tips, and I had the tool there, had oil in that little cup up there. It was quite the process, but I think overall it made it real nice because everything I torqued on the motor was accurate compared to what it would have been if I still had all the grime in there. These are the pistons I did all, and I put the rings on and everything. The funny thing is I ended up putting them on wrong. I had the top ring and the bottom ring backwards, so I ended up switching those around. This is all of them completed, all ready to be put in the motor. I did set them in the motor. Something I didn't realize when I first did this was you got to make sure that the ring gaps are not in line with the rest, obviously, but in line with your spark plug. Didn't realize it at first, and so I had to pull all the pistons back out and then adjust them to where they weren't near the spark plug, and put them all back in. Glad I caught that before I put the whole motor and the heads and everything in the car. This is the assembly of the crank. Just set that in there, torque the bolts down. I did the plastic gauge deal, and the clearances were really nice. These are the heads I bought. They're Liberty heads. I do have... They're good heads. Don't get me wrong. The support that I've been trying to find for them is really lacking that I've seen. I tried going online, sending messages, never got any responses back. When I called the machine shop that I got them from, they had their own customer service line, which is nowhere to be found online. Maybe you guys can find it. Who knows? But the issues I was having was the fitment of headers on there. I needed to find out what headers would fit best on this for my car, because I was struggling with the Camaro and getting the right headers. I ended up going through 2 different sets of them, and you'll see that in future pictures. But overall, the quality of the heads and everything are really nice. Here's they are on the motor. Here is the lifter guide bracket and lifter guides all in there. Cleaned them all up, made it look all nice, torqued the bolts down, and turned out really nice. Here are the roller rockers I purchased from the same machine shop, making sure that they all were paired up nicely with my setup. I went with roller rockers, roller cam, roller lifters, all that good stuff. So here are the roller rockers and the push rods. So these push rods on here were actually the wrong size. You can probably already kind of see that. But when I was putting everything back together, they just were not lining up. You'll kind of see it here in a second. So you can kind of see that these were too short. Ended up getting the right ones from Liberty. And actually, the funny part is this is my the 3rd set of push rods I had to go with. So I got a 2nd set, and those ended up bending because they just weren't strong enough for this valve setup. Again, just another angle of how these don't fit. I had to show my machine shop just so they knew. Okay, got some more progression on the motor. Got all the roller rockers on there. Starting to work on the timing chain cover. Got the water pump on there. Starting to put all the bolts in there for the accessories, just making sure that I have all the right things still. This is that intake, the RPM Performer, that I didn't end up going with, but ended up going with RPM Air Gap. Got the oil pan on there. I went with a Millings oil pump, and I actually took that down to my local machine shop and had them welded on there so the screen would not move due to vibration. I know it's a very common issue that you would have. Last thing I want is that screen to fall off and not sucking up oil for my motor I just built. Okay, just another screenshot of it flip back over after working on it. Here's all the accessory brackets. They are not the prettiest thing, but I did clean them all up and paint them. I do want to go with an aftermarket one. I have not purchased it yet, but they're kind of expensive. Anywhere from $1,000 to $2,000, depending if they come with the actual, the alternator and the AC and all the accessories. See, these are the long tube headers that I ended up purchasing. They did not work on these heads. They did not work in the car. There's so many fitment issues. But this is the first stage of me setting it in the car and seeing how it fit and everything. Ended up pulling it back out. And I just kind of mocked everything up. FI Tech unit put on there. Air filter. Got my alternator on there. It's starting to look good. Again, a little side profile. The transmission on there. I also have the long tube headers on there again. This is where I started dropping in the car and I experienced some issues. You can see the valve covers are the ones, these are different. The other ones that were that I tried using just did not have the clearance for the roller rockers. Engine put in the car. I had a lot of fitment issues still again. I ended up pulling those headers off and I went with a different brand. What you can't see on the other side is I ended up removing the passenger side. That's the one that has all the problems. Got an Ultimate battery in there. Got it all set up. Staging the motor, getting it all set up. Again, trying to keep it all clean. This is one of my mini trips to a muffler shop in order to get the new headers I got put on and fitting a white pipe that I purchased. The white pipe did not work for the headers that it was supposed to work for this Camaro. You'll hear a lot of people with F-body Camaros have a lot of issues with the exhaust, the headers, the white pipe, just everything just kind of fitting in the car. It is a pain. I experienced it myself. I do have a welder now, but I'm not skilled enough to do exhaust work yet. I took it to 3 different exhaust shops and I got turned away from 2 of them. And mind you, I was getting it towed by this Craigslist guy that tows on the side. It cost me like $200 or $300 just to get it towed to and from after getting rejected. I have some pictures of some fitment issues. I did remove them. Okay, so here is the motor as it is in the car now. I'm really happy with the motor. It really runs really strong. I do have a limited slip rear end in it. And I'm kind of just like a single tire fryer at the moment. But I am going to be dropping a 4th gen rear end in it. I actually have it in my garage right now. I'll probably be doing some videos on that. Also, I have those overflow tank and the windshield washer fluid tank. I got those off the 4th gen as well. So I'll empty out those and put those in here soon. Kind of overview of the car. Again, the interior is a mess. I have not started on that. Just got the motor running. Next steps, get a rear end for it. Getting it tuned correctly, which the FI Tech unit is all working right now. It's still self-learning. Probably have about 20 miles on the car, but with the transmission the way it is, I'll have to replace that before I get a lot of miles on it. And a little side profile of me washing in the car on the lawn. I bet you my wife really loves that. I know she's already commented on it. She caught me doing it, and she gave me a lot of grief over it. But part of being married, I guess, kind of get yelled at by your spouse to make sure you don't do crazy stuff like that. Well, that's the end of the little slideshow as the progression goes. Again, I am going to be doing a lot more videos of actually how to, and I'll start doing those within the next few weeks. I have a lot of projects I plan on doing with the car, interior, body, suspension upgrades, all of that above. I do know that there are a lot of videos on this car, but I think that'll help out with the 4th gen rear end swap. I don't really see a lot of those online, so that'll be one of my big projects next. Well, thank you. Please like the video if you liked it. Subscribe as more videos come up. I appreciate everyone for watching my video. Thank you.